Welcome back to the Childhood Cancer Perspective, and thank you all for sticking with me through all of these episodes. When I first started this podcast, the option or what I was doing it for was really to share my story as a parent and as an advocate, as well as my wife and my other two children to share their stories as siblings. What I've had the honor the last year of being able to do is being able to speak to parents, families, children, as well as organizations directly connected to the pediatric cancer world and really get their insight to everything and how they see it, and to be able to share their stories and everything about that. So today, my honor is to be able to introduce somebody that I've never actually met in person, but I've been able to hear them speak at CureFest for the last several years. And if you don't know what CureFest is, it is just a collection of families and organizations in the pediatric cancer world that come together to not only share their stories, but also their support. And it shows our strength in numbers. So today, I'm very honored to be able to introduce Avah Sunflower, and I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. So the floor is yours.
Hi guys. My name's Avah Sunflower. I'm 13 years old. I live in California, and when I was 9 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Wilms tumor in my left kidney. And yeah, like you were talking about CureFest, that place is really amazing. I love CureFest. It's amazing. I've been going for 4 years. Last year was my 4th year. Yeah, I have two siblings, and
And so you mentioned, so number one, CureFest is incredible. And last year, this year was our 4th year as well. And it was something that we did initially in 2021. It would have been literally 2 months after our daughter passed away. And we didn't know if we really truly wanted to be there. But we also knew that was where we needed to be around people that truly understood us. And it really gives people an option and an opportunity to feel like they're part of a community that it's stronger than any that I've ever been a part of. And you've also mentioned siblings. Now, I wanted to ask you specifically, because I've spoken to other parents about this and other warriors, is tell us how important it was or what role your siblings played in your diagnosis and your fight, to be honest with you. How important was it for them to be around for you?
it was really important having them by my side. They really just brought my smile. They would always hang out with me whenever I wasn't feeling well. They were always there to hang out with me and make me feel better. And yeah, my little sister, she was always by my side. My little brother was a little young for it, so he didn't really understand yet. But yeah, the more he's growing up, he's asking more questions, and I think that's amazing. And yeah, but just having them by my side really helped me stay positive, and knowing that they were there for me and cared for me and understood really was helpful.
Right, absolutely. I think what you say is that when they're by your side, like I have to tell my daughters too that friends tend to come and go in life, but your siblings will always be there for you no matter what. They will always have your back. And it's always something that you can fall back on and have that support because they truly know you, not just from this, but they know you as a person, they know you as a sister, and it's so important. So I'm so glad that you had that type of support as well as your family. um, I would ask you to tell me about some of the connections that you've made through CureFest and how that has really helped you, not only in your fight with this, but also with advocacy work.
So CureFest really helped me find people that I related to and people that just knew what I was going through and understood, and I could talk to about anything and they would just understand me and know exactly what I was talking about. And like for example, Ava Blazer, I met her through CureFest. She was diagnosed with the same Wilms tumor as me, but stage 5. And just knowing that other people have the same thing as me and know what I went through and stuff really just made me feel not alone, and that I had people that just knew what I was going through and what it's like speaking, like talking to with my mom and my grandma, saying how I feel. I always felt like they were there for me, but they could never, like, it was to a certain point. Like, it wasn't like they could say, like, oh, yeah, I know how that feels. Like, oh, yeah, yeah. But talking to people who went through the same thing, they were able to say that and relate and, like, give me ways that I can help that or change it. And, like, advocating. Advocating has been really important to me ever since I was diagnosed because I believe that it shouldn't take someone to say something. Like having someone in your family, it shouldn't take someone getting cancer to know about cancer and to speak about cancer. I think this disease needs to be more talked about and brought more awareness to. It's not fair to the kids who are fighting and don't have people by their side and no one to talk to about it.
Yeah, I think that the reality of the situation is that I can scream at the top of my lungs, right? As a dad. And I could do that all day long, but the truth is that your face and the face of all the warriors that are physically facing this every day and going through it, that's what's going to make the most change. That's what's going to make people listen the most because you understand. You understand the day-to-day life. You understand the diagnosis, you understand the treatments, and a point that I've always tried to make is that so many of these kids and so many are so young when they're diagnosed, but yet you can recite chemo drugs before you can recite some of the things you learn in school, and you know the side effects and you know all of that. And it's so important to get people to listen to that side. And so I mean, I appreciate so much, to be honest with you, and I know the community does, you speaking out and being willing to kind of embrace it and not letting it define you, but wanting to make such a difference.
Yeah, it's really
Uh,
important to me that I make a difference and stuff. I love seeing how just like talking and like speaking at CureFest, it's so empowering to see how many people can speak about such a topic and keep it positive. That's the thing. Like I always like to keep things positive because this thing like this sickness can get so sad, and I don't think that's what cancer patients want to bring from it. Because my story, I always want to bring happiness from it, and I want to make a difference with it. Like, feel that I was diagnosed to make a difference, and everyone is diagnosed to make a difference.
right. And I love that because I think we're all put here for a purpose, right? We all have a purpose and we have a mission that we're supposed to complete. We don't know what that is, and I think that yes, there are, you know, we're given things that we're supposed to face and we're supposed to overcome, and that we're supposed to find a way to make that, make other people understand, but also make it easier for people moving forward. So I think you're doing great work by just getting out there and talking about it. I think so many people, whether the diagnosis comes or whether they, get end of treatment or things like that, they just want to get away from it all. And to stay so immersed in it and continue to fight for everybody else, I think is so important. So I personally, on my end and from my family, I thank you for continuing to do that, and continuing to share your story because it is so important. So I want to ask you because you said so it was Wilms tumor, correct? And what were the symptoms or things that led to getting to that diagnosis, and how long did that diagnosis take, if you remember that?
I think a couple months before my diagnosis, there was a big lump sticking out on my left side. This one day I was swimming and my mom like pulled me to the side and like, what's that on your stomach? And I was like, oh, I don't know, it's been there. And then so she had took me into the doctor to check it out. And then they x-rayed me and stuff. But before that, I had been giving samples and they would test it and they would just pass it as a UTI. I've and then my high blood pressure. I had really high blood pressure and I had blood in my urine. And the doctors usually just pass it as like infections, and it just kept on happening and it didn't stop. So my mom had took me to my doctor again, and then that's when they had x-rayed me and then said that I need to go to the ER like immediately. And then when I did, they had diagnosed me with Wilms tumor, and I was admitted to the hospital. And yeah, and then a couple days after I had my surgeries and stuff.
And how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 9 years old.
You were 9. And how did you at 9 years old kind of process what was happening?
We were in the tents when I was getting diagnosed, because it was COVID. So we weren't even allowed to be inside of the hospital. So the tents and the lady doctor had just came in and just told me and my mom that like she has Wilms tumor, she can't leave. Like, do you have someone you can call to bring your stuff? And that's what shocked me, like that I wasn't allowed to leave. Like, it's so serious that I can't leave. And like the first thing that I thought was like surgery. That was really scary for me. Just knowing that I had to have surgery was just really, I don't know, it freaked me out. Yeah, but I don't know. She just when she let us know, kind of just my mind went blank, and because I didn't know what it meant. Um, she didn't say cancer yet, so I didn't know what it was that. So, like later on, I figured out and I researched and I learned about it. But at first, I really didn't know what to think. Like, I didn't think anything about it. I was just like, oh, okay, I'll get better soon. Like, I'll have some medicine, I'll be better. And then it kept just like kept learning more and more about it, and then knew how like the severity of it and how serious it was.
And because of the same time, you were diagnosed essentially the same year that our daughter was diagnosed. And I know that I can tell you my story about how COVID really affected, treatments and being able to be in the hospital and stuff like that. How would you say that, I guess, how hard was that? Because I know for us, we could only have one parent in the room with our daughter, and we could never do it at the same time. And that was really difficult in itself, just to have that separation. Did you have that same type of experience as well?
Yeah, like for example, when I had my surgery, only one parent was allowed to go in, and I think that really like hurt my dad. I guess not hurt him, but made him feel because he wanted to be there for me. I know he did, and he was, but like there was so much that he could do because of COVID, and they wouldn't let him back. And yeah, but like how I was saying in COVID, the tents and stuff, I really like it was not fun, and the masks were horrible. And then like when I would get my chemo treatments, I would have to stay in like each kid who was getting medicine would have to stay in like, so we had these chairs and we had to get our medicine, but they had to stay like 2 chairs away. And like if I were to get sick, it would be like 10 times worse.
Yeah, it was definitely not a good time for anybody, and especially being diagnosed and going through those treatments at that time was very, very difficult. You're already dealing with the weight of the world on your shoulders, and now you're trying to navigate all of that. So I know it wasn't easy, and I know that we all felt the same thing. But um, so I was actually on the website. I was on avahstrong.com, and I was looking through all of it, and there was a group of people that I want you to talk about, and I want you to tell me if they made a positive impact on your life. And they're heroes that we like to call child life specialists. And in a time when everything is crazy and COVID is crazy and you're going through probably the worst time of your life, these people who are true angels on this earth, I don't know where they pull it from, but they do amazing things to make times not so difficult for kids. So tell us about your experiences with child life.
So my child life specialist was amazing. She was great. I'm still I still keep in contact with her. Like during my surgery, she would always bring like coloring pages or toys that would take my mind off of stuff. But what I really loved is how she didn't fully take my mind off stuff. She explained stuff in like a manner where it was easier for me to understand because I still really didn't understand. And she just helped me understand everything, but in a way that wasn't scary. Like she made everything 100% less scary. Because just knowing that I had her by my side, it was really helpful. And like she was able to walk me into the room for surgery. She held my hand all the time. And for my first blood draw, she was there. For my first chemo treatment, she was there. And she always had a smile on her face, and she always made things just better. She always lightened the room, and she always brought a smile to me and my mom's face. And she was great for my mom too. She took the stress off my mom for explaining it stuff, and just knowing that I felt better around her and I was happy, and I felt okay, and just like my mom knowing that someone was there for me and was able to make me find almost some fun in what I was going through. Yeah, just helped both of us a lot.
Yeah, the name is Child Life, but what she said is 100% true. They absolutely are there for both the child and for the parents, and we had no idea that they even existed until that evening that we got our diagnosis, and they were in the room at 4 a.m. trying to explain it to our daughter with a book, explaining what was going to happen, and they stay with you, and they honestly are the people that should be making the most money in the hospital, if you ask for my opinion on it, and probably everybody else's. But their impact is so important and necessary in a time when parents and grandparents are trying to find a way to just process and deal with it, and how to talk to their children about it, and then they can come in and they can really make it easy. So I'm glad that you had the same experience that we did, and that you were also still in contact with yours. It's truly amazing. What other types of things do you do? Now, I also noticed that you've done blood drives. And what other types of things have you done to either raise awareness or raise money, you just locally for this cause?
Yeah, locally I really like to like at the hospital that I was treated, I like to make during Christmas time I like to put together some goodie bags for the kids in the hospital full of like toys, fidgets, coloring pages, little fun squishies and stuff. And just fun stuff to make their day a little better. Because I know when I was in the hospital, I loved getting little packages, care packages from people. And it just really made stuff funner. Like, it just really kept me busy. I hate that kids would have to spend all their time just thinking about it. And I feel like having a little goodie bag randomly would just be it's just so much fun. And it just helps them just feel better and know that someone just gave them this, and it's just so cool.
I love that. It's really about distraction, right? When the care packages or things that Child Life brings in or stuff like that, it's about distraction and taking your mind away from what you're currently going through, and just allowing you to escape into things. And it's really awesome that you're doing that, because you're giving back to these families and these children that are going through and experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing, and maybe feeling alone or not understanding what they're going through, or not, they don't know what to expect. And just to have somebody else that truly understands to want to give back, that really is incredible. And it's something that really should be celebrated. And I know, I'm sure you don't, I know we don't do anything for the awards and the accolades. That's not why we're doing it, but it just feels good to be able to give back. And so that's awesome. And I applaud you for doing that as well.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Now, and we're just kind of like bouncing around here, but as you're going through, so your diagnosis in 2020, and here we are in 2024, have there been any relapses?
No, I've never relapsed.
And that's the greatest thing that we can hear. That is incredible. So we're saying that it's remission then, correct?
Mhm.
Awesome. And I love that. I love that. There's the way that we can share these amazing victories and we can be happy and smiling. That's truly incredible. So I'm so happy to hear that, because that means that every single year I get to go back and hear another speech from you in DC, and they're going to continue to get better and better and better. And sometimes the mics won't work or whatever's going to happen. there's there's technical difficulties, but I do love that. And I was, like I said, I was scrolling through, on the website and things like that, and also was on Instagram. And what is your connection? I know with Ava Blazer, and her story is incredible too. And one day I hope to speak to her as well. But with Dance Hope Cure, what is your connection with them?
Oh, Dance Up Cure. That is just amazing. I really want to be a dancer for Dance Up Cure. That's amazing. But so when Mike had first heard about my story, he reached out and had asked me to if he could meet up and we could have this photo shoot thing, so I could he just basically introduced me to CureFest and invited me to CureFest, and also invited me to the photo shoot and stuff. So he had flew out to California, and we met up and we had the photo shoot, and we just talked a lot. And he's just a really cool guy, and yeah, it was really cool meeting him because I never knew any of this stuff. I had never knew of any of this stuff, like Dance Up Cure, CureFest, or Arms Wide Open. I never knew of any of it, and now it was just really cool knowing that it's not common, but people know about it, and there is people that can relate. Like I was saying, there's people that know, and I'm just glad that he was there to connect me with people. Oh yeah, and Dance Up Cure ambassadors, he had took me to Orange County to meet up with some of them, and yeah, they were really cool ambassadors. We had fun, we hung out, and we made TikToks, dances, we and yeah, they were really fun, including my little sister too. They were really cool. Yeah, just yeah.
Well, I think that what I would say is that you're kind of the perfect example of this community comes together in so many amazing ways, right? And they're truly a family that nobody wants to be a part of. We don't get up one day and hope to be a part of this, but there is so much incredible there's so many incredible connections and so many incredible families and people for you to be a part of, and really not only share your story but allow others to share theirs, but also show that we're not really friends, right? We're all family together, and we will all fight for each other and ensure that we can continue to make a difference and make an impact, and be able to have people listen to what we're saying, because there's so many important things that we have to tell and that we have to say. And you know, I wish that the stories that we're able to be told were honestly more real when it comes to commercials and things like that. You saw the real side of pediatric cancer, because it's not a fun time, right? It's not all smiles. I mean, yes, there are people that can make us smile, and you can laugh through it, and you can not let it define you, but it definitely can be hard. And I think the real side of what we truly need to see every day. Now, have you done any? I know that you obviously, when you're in DC, you're going to the Capitol, you're speaking with people there and things like that. Have you done anything as far as Capitol work or with any type of local senators where you are in California?
Not in California, but at CureFest, I did the Climb the Hill, where we talked to senators and spoke about the bills and stuff, but not in California, no.
Is that something that you have explored, or it just has not? It just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened yet.
Um, it hasn't happened yet. I haven't really researched about it or learned about it. Um, but this year was my first year at the Capitol with the senators in DC, so I definitely want to start doing that more. It was a really cool experience. I'd love to do it again, and also in California would be so much fun.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to get in there because a lot of our politicians and senators they're much too busy to hear from people that just on their daily day are to-do list. But it is really cool if you can get in there and speak to them, and it's really it's honestly a fun thing to be able to see how things work and have them sit down and listen to your stories. And like I said, the children that are going through it, you that have gone through it, you know what I mean? You are the face of this, and that's the ones that are going to make the biggest impact when you're telling your personal story. Um, so tell me about your experience with Climb the Hill, about being able to go in and speak to them, and how you feel that it went in speaking to politicians in DC.
It was really fun. It was amazing. But like the first meeting, so I think we did 5 meetings in total. So we met with 5 senators in total, and I feel like the meeting just got better and better. Since it was my first time, it was kind of difficult speaking to such a big person, an important person. They are pretty intimidating because you just know, I don't know, they just are intimidating. But just knowing that um, I'm able to speak to them and stuff about such cool stuff, and I'm like a kid, it's just so cool to me. And like you're saying, like kids going in, like it's makes more of a difference when kids speak about their story themselves because just I feel like the senators will, instead of seeing like another doctor in there or another parent or another maybe even child life specialist or sibling, but you go in there and you talk to us like a child fighter or survivor, that's the face they'll remember. Like they will remember more of what the kid said rather than the adult, I feel.
You are 100% right in that matter. And I say it from personal experience, going to the Capitol here in Wisconsin and going and knocking on doors. And a lot of people, I think, close the door and then forget that you were there. But as a child walking in, and you can physically say, "Hey, this is my story," and you have to listen to what I'm saying because, the reality of pediatric cancer, and one of the biggest problems is that we don't understand it, right? We don't understand why it happens. We don't understand where it comes from. Most of it is misunderstood. And so it's one of those situations where most of these politicians have children, and to see you as a child walk in and tell your story, and then they can realize, well, this could be me at any moment, because it wasn't you, right, until the day that it was. Even up until they said what it was, you didn't think that it was going to be cancer. It was going to be that serious, that you would just get better, and kind of move on with your life. And so they hear these stories, and I think that's what is so important about these Climb the Hill events, and about you being in there and being willing to open up and talk about it, and not worried about what people are going to think, because you know what, you've been through something that doesn't have to define you, but it really does tell a lot about you and your character to continue to push for other kids, which is what I think so many people are happy to see. Like I said, I'm excited every year to hear the speakers at CureFest, and to hear and everybody up there, the doctors, right, and organizations and the parents. I love it, but it's the kids that are coming out and telling their personal stories that I think give me the push and the motivation for the next year to keep going. I think it's so important. So I'm so excited for what you're doing, and that you're not allowing this to slow you down, and you're continuing to push. I think that's great. Is there anything now I have a few more, but is there anything else that we haven't covered yet that you would like to tell, either about you, about your story, maybe things that you have planned that you haven't talked about yet? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, I could talk about blood drives maybe. Oh, my yaya has spoken to the parents of Autumn Falk, if you know her.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away at I don't know when, I think a couple years ago. But she wasn't, what I thought was crazy when my yaya was explaining me to her story. I thought it was crazy how she wasn't able to receive the blood that she needed for her blood transfusions. I was very shocked that blood banks and blood, like where you get your blood transfusions, they were out of blood. Like it was so it's so weird how they're out of that. And I was like, yeah, I need to bring awareness to this. I need to help the kids who need blood. Like it's not fair. So what we did 3 years ago, we started doing blood drives to bring awareness and have more blood for the kids and people who need it. Honestly, like all people that need it, and they need it now. Like they need it right now. Like there's no waiting in it. But yeah, so it would just really it angered me knowing that she wasn't able to get what she needed and to win her fight. And I don't think any other kid should have to go through that. And it's so sad that they are, like every day. And I don't know, but just seeing that, like at CureFest, I met this other family whose kid passed away because they didn't have blood. And I'm just meeting more and more kids who don't have like blood that they can't get. And it's just making me frustrated. And I just want everyone to be able to get the treatment that they need to survive, because everybody deserves a chance at life. Like everyone deserves to live.
I think the fact that you were able to turn something like, I mean, I hate that that's what had to happen for motivation, not anything bad. I hate that there's problems like this that have to motivate other people to make things happen. Like, why are these things not happening? And I think it's incredible that you turned something like that into such a passionate drive to fix it. And your anger or your frustration and your passion for these families, it's going to, I know it already is, but it's going to make such a massive impact. And the fact that you did that for somebody else and went through and made that that effort is incredible. So I hope that it continues to happen and you continue to get people to come to these blood drives and you're able to, make those contributions, because turning this bad situation into something positive is so important. So I usually ask at the end, or I ask what is advice that you would give. So you, either your 9-year-old self or your 13-year-old self now, your advice you would give to a child that is either about to be or is diagnosed, going through this and is maybe scared, even advice to parents, advice to doctors, anything you would say that could help somebody else who may be in this boat, every single day.
The biggest thing I would just say is just always find the good in stuff. Always find the good. Just look, if you can't find it, look for it. There's always good in bad situations. Everything will happen how it's supposed to happen. Everything will turn out. And it's just one bad thing that's happening. And why stay sad and feel upset about what's happening to you when you can just turn it to such a positive thing and change people's lives because of it. Like, if you're angry that this happened to you, so use it as a opportunity to change it. Like, use it as an opportunity to change other people's like how, if other people are going through the same stuff, like use that to be able to change other people getting diagnosed or other people going through what you went through. Use it as a opportunity, like make your hardships an opportunity and find the good and stuff.
I think that honestly is incredible advice, and I'm so happy that you're able to pass that along. And to be honest with you, every day I kind of get a little bit worried about the younger generation and the ones that are going to be taking care of me when I get older, and then I get excited when I hear the younger generation impress me with how much they're taking on at a young age and how much I know that you're going to accomplish. So I am excited to hear everything you're doing. I'm going to be paying attention and watching and seeing everything that's happening. And I know everybody else is taking notice too. So I, once again, just want to thank you for taking this situation and turning it positive for so many other people and giving them so much to look forward to, and for taking a situation where watching people that weren't able to get what they were able to get and what they needed to help them get that and fix a problem. You saw a problem and you're fixing it. So I want to thank you and give you kudos on that, because I think you're doing amazing work.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I will just ask you if there's anything else that you would like to share with the rest of the world in this podcast, and giving them an option again outside of social media where we're able to kind of, tell our stories without anybody filtering us. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
No, I think that's all.
I appreciate you taking the opportunity and the time to talk with me. And I so look forward to see what you're going to accomplish. And I look forward to seeing you again in person in September. And I can't wait to hear what the next speech is and the next story on the Hill, and see what you're able to move forward with.
Thank you.
So it has been an absolute honor. So once again, I thank you. And for everybody else, we will see you all next week.